Hey yo, this is the Corner of the Circle. Nice little podcast with me, your host, LS McLean. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a nosy person. People are nosy. They want to know stories. They want to know what's going on in other people's lives. And yo, I am absolutely no exception. So sit back, relax, and let's just chill for a little bit. This is the Corner of the Circle. So we're good to go, and we're on. This is dope. Woo! All right. You guys, this is a very, very, very special one. I say them all. I say they're all special, but this is definitely a super special one. This is one I don't have a lot of OG friends in this whole fitness game. I really don't. It's so crazy. Man, all right, where do I even start with Katie? Katie Ann Rutherford. She is a champion. She has won on stage. She has won on the platform. She's set records. She has literally been the girl with the, because that's what I do. If you followed her journey, you'll know that she has some of the, if not the greatest pair of legs in all of powerlifting for a while, until she decided to take her talents back to stage, to which she got shredded for sure. Did you win the Yorton?
Yeah.
Yo, listen, and let me tell you, if you guys follow the chronological order of these things, that was like the last time I actually saw Paul was at the Yorton. Here's the crazy thing: everybody knows that Sam's one of my boys. I didn't know what the Yorton was until I started like looking it up, like for the stuff that Sam was doing, because obviously I went to the Yorton this past year, and then I didn't know how big time that was.
And wait, you went to the Yorton?
Yes, I went to the Yorton. And that's why I was like, yo, Katie's big time for real. Yeah, so that made me appreciate your talent just as much. Not a lot of people went on not a lot of people went on either one of the stages. You've done it all. And I mean, she coaches, she has by far the best eyebrows in the freaking biz. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend Katie Ann Rutherford. Thank you so much.
That was like the best intro ever.
Listen, that's what I do.
Like ever.
I
Thank
try.
you.
I try.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is dope.
We go way back.
We do. We really do.
The
OG de Novos. Like, jeez. Yeah, man. Like, God, man. That's crazy. And it's weird. I mean, and we'll get into that. I'm going to put that on the thing. We're going to talk about the de Novo.
Yeah. We definitely need to.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, it's just weird. Like, so, I mean, for those the people that don't know who you are, give them a quick rundown of who you are, girl.
Okay. I think you covered it.
I really did, though.
Just kidding. Okay. Okay, I'll add a few more details. So I am from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
So Midwest girl, and I got into weightlifting and just training in my late teens, early 20s, and I just fell in love with it. Kind of one thing led to another. Started bodybuilding, started powerlifting, competed in both, did pretty well in both, and just I don't even, to be honest, it's weird. I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about my journey and thinking back, and I'm like, I don't know how all of this happened. I really don't, but it really was like God's hand in my life, 100%.
Oh yeah.
I would have never chosen this route. I never would have thought, oh yeah, I will be doing powerlifting and bodybuilding, and that will be my platform, and then I'll be coaching, and then I'll have this whole spiritual journey throughout all of it. It's been a real transformation over the past couple of years. But anyway, so yeah, I've had a coaching business for now 5 years, and I coach individuals. I coach a lot of powerlifters, bodybuilders, and lifestyle clients. So it's kind of a mix of all. And really my passion lies in helping others and helping individuals find freedom in health and fitness, and not really seeing themselves in a box. And I think a lot of times in the fitness industry, it's you have to fit this certain mold. And so trying to really promote a message of freedom within health and fitness, and having it be part of your life, as opposed to being everything where you're stuck in this constant battle with food restriction and dieting and overeating and all these types of common things that are that exist in our society and that I dealt with myself. And so it was through that struggle that really led me to where I am today. So definitely been quite the journey. And yeah, and just you covered pretty much everything. The
Yeah, man.
brows, I mean, that was kind of like the most important thing to mention. So I'm glad you hit
Like, but you always,
and
but the thing is, like, I think, I don't even, I mean, I know that I'm not the only person that says it, but like, I think there are literal points where I know that I've commented, or like, I'm like, sometimes like, I'll comment, like, why would I comment? Like, she needs to know this directly from me. Like, girl, your brows though. Oh my God, your eyes, your brows. Like, all right, I don't know. I'm that weird friend, man. And it's crazy because, like I said, we've known each other for so long, and it doesn't really. It's weird how fitness is, because I guess it's all relative, but like it's like we've known each other for a while, especially like fitness related. And it's, and I can honestly say you were probably, honestly, you're one of my first actual close friends that I had in the fitness industry.
yeah.
That's crazy, because like we kind of talked. It's weird to say we talked off air, but when we talked before, just how like it's just, you just never know what people want from you, nor do you know what to expect from people. So when you do, align yourself with really good people that don't seem to want anything from you other than you to be as successful as they want to be, it's crazy. And then when you find other people that really just they just want to help other people, and I think you tend to gravitate and attract those type of people in your life if you just keep your eyes open and your heart open. So it's been cool, like, because again, I talk about it a lot, like the people that I interview, the people that I podcast, the people that I look up to, people that I idolize, people that I that I want to be like, people that I feel like they have a story to tell, and I think you have the dopest story. And and it's crazy because you're a little youngin, but you have a great story. No, it's the truth, and like it's crazy to think, and again, like I don't put people's business on the street, but I feel like even with us as friends, like, we've been through a lot, you know what I'm saying? And like, and I don't think people understand, like, it's one thing to be friends with a person. That's easy. That's easy. It's easy to be a friend. It's harder to be a good friend. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
for sure.
You know what I mean? And so on top of that, of course, it's you're in an industry that's such a self-serving, selfish industry.
Right.
So your friendships, if you can manage to maintain a friendship within this fitness industry, regardless if it's powerlifting, bodybuilding, whatever it is, if you can manage to maintain a genuine friendship in this bad boy, you've got something special. You know what I mean? And granted, people, you find times they're like, all right, we don't really talk as much as we should, or I just don't have time, or whatever it might be. It's like you find a way to keep that friendship alive, and I think that's been the coolest thing, I guess, with you and I, is it's like, all right, cool, all right, let's pick up where we left off. You know what I mean? And because it's crazy, like I said, because we had a group. We had a group of friends.
Yeah.
And that group doesn't even exist anymore. We had a big group of friends. Yeah, we really did. We had and it was crazy because it was all of us knuckleheads and then Katie. You know what I mean? Like, it was literally all the knuckleheads and the princess. Like, all right, let's just make, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
But
that was all the bros.
Yeah, man. And that's how it was. And then, it was just like, we were all at a point in our, can you say careers? It's so weird saying careers. We were all at a point in our careers where, like, I think we were all at that point where everyone's like foot was kind of dug in the dirt. Like, all right, I'm about to take off. You're about to take off. I'm about to take off. And so we were all about to start that point of momentum. And, like, we were all a part of that whole De Novo crew. And like, and it was like literally within 7-8 months of us doing that tour, like, everybody was kind of like, pew, 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 pew. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for people who don't know, we should probably give them a background. So we went on a tour.
Yeah.
Okay. Crazy. Like, I think back to this and I'm like, oh my gosh. So we rode around in a massive, what was it, like SUV?
Yeah, it was a big old SUV.
We went from like California. We drove
From
from
West Coast
California.
to East
I
Coast.
didn't do part of the trip,
Yeah.
but it was California to Arizona. And then you guys went to Texas. I
You went to
wasn't in Texas
Texas.
because I had to get back home.
Yep.
And then I rejoined you guys in New York.
Yep.
And we were like staying at Airbnbs.
Airbnbs.
We were lifting at these different
All
gyms.
these,
We were
yeah,
doing like
man.
this whole tour.
Did a tour.
And that's when you and I like really hung out.
Yeah,
and we got to know each other. And so it was during that period of time where that's so crazy to think back to, but that was when I was powerlifting, like focused on powerlifting.
Yeah, and I was getting ready for Worlds.
And you were getting ready for, and then I came to Worlds. Oh my gosh, that's so
man.
weird. Yeah, and then I came to Worlds, and it was just like this whole whirlwind of things.
Yeah, man.
And like you said, like we were all just sort of like in this weird phase where we're all like together, but then we all just kind of like went in all these different directions after that, it seemed like.
Impact, man.
Which is crazy to think back to, but that tour, man, my gosh, I remember sitting in the back of that of whatever it was, SUV, and just being like, oh my god, like I remember at one point like I couldn't move because it was like so small. We had so many people.
Yeah, so many people, so much luggage, and just, man, it was weird. And if you would have told me years ago that that's like how I was gonna be spending, you know, my spring, I would have like, okay, that makes no sense. But we pulled it off. We pulled it off.
Yeah.
We had a blast doing it. And then, you know, like looking back on it, when Brandon finished that documentary, I remember going back on it, man, and like I bawled like a baby. Because like I forgot those times, you know what I mean? And like, and of course, me being how I am, I was still in dickhead mode. So I was like, I should just like text, but yo, did you watch it? It's so awesome. Hey, I miss you. But I didn't, because I was being a turd.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and the thing was he like, when was that he finished it?
He finished it
so Brandon filmed this documentary.
Brandon Blurts. For those of you guys, like Brandon.
D-Dub.
I see him all the time. I see him all the time. Yeah, he lives right up the street.
He's the real one. He's the real one.
He's the realest. You know, like, shout out to Brandon, by the way, guys. Because Brandon's got he's got some dope music. He's been dropping dope music.
Yeah, he's been dropping a lot of really good music. But
we're supposed to do a jam session.
I remember watching that, and it was like in 2017, and it was after I had kind of moved away from powerlifting into bodybuilding, and I think it was like when I was about to compete at Worlds, or I don't know. And I remember watching that and thinking like, so much has changed.
So much has changed.
So much has changed. And I don't know about you, but like ever since, 2016, when all that happened, that was like probably one of the biggest like transformation years for me in terms of like, who am I? What's my purpose in life? Like what am I doing? Like, am I just, because in the fitness industry, and I'm sure you can attest to this, like so many people are just in it for like, what can I get out of it?
Yes.
How can I promote myself? And how can I just be this like it's so much about self-promotion and who's gonna, you're all kind of like in a or there's some people who kind of see everything as like a competition and like trying to like one up each other. Yeah. And so, so like through that, I think I kind of hit a little bit of a lull in like end of 2016 where I was like, what am I doing? Yeah. Like I thought, am I doing this just for like self-glorification, or am I actually like trying to make a difference in the industry? And I think that's like when it like clicked in my mind. So then looking back at that video, I was like, oh my gosh, because I was such a baby.
I think we all were in a lot of, because I think there was a lot of just, it wasn't, I don't even know that it was just that we were like babies. I think it was that we're so like, we were just in that phase as far as, where lifting and everything was at that point where like, all right, the popularity is growing, so I need to ride this wave, keep my popularity up, do my thing and make sure that, people see what's going on. But then like, I think we all kind of hit that point almost around the same time, like, all right, now that I've experienced that, like, what can I do to make a change in this? Because at this rate, it's not sustainable just to be selfish. and just like
No,
me. If I feel
for
like we're called for a higher purpose. We all are.
sure.
We all are. No
Yep.
one's the exception. Some choose to hear it, some
Mhm.
choose not to. And I think we were all at
Right.
a point because we all were similar in terms of our personalities. We all chose the road less traveled in terms of what can we do to shake this industry up to try to
Yeah.
change people's
Yeah.
thoughts of it. And
Yeah.
while genetically you're so gifted, you're able to do that not just as a lifter but also as as a competitor on stage, as well as
Right.
a coach, on so many
Mhm.
respective levels. So I mean, you're able to make a lot of it, of a lot of impact that a lot of people aren't able to make or choose not to make because
Right.
of their own selfish reasoning
For
behind
sure.
it. So I
Right.
think I really feel like you hit a point where like, all right, cool, I'm at a crossroads. Do I keep doing what I'm doing now, or do I take a right or a left, or do I go back, take a few steps back so I can take leaps
Mhm.
forward? And
Right.
just from following you, even though I never said anything, you know what I mean? Like, I openly admit, dude, I
You
will.
were like, you're
You know what I mean? Like,
you were like following, like watching, but you were
like,
like not
well,
saying
yeah.
anything.
Well,
You're just like one of those people.
here's the thing, man. And like I said, I said off air, you cannot say to a person, especially a friend that you grow so close to, like, I love you and I want you to succeed. Like, I
Mhm.
want you to succeed and not hold those feelings. Like, you can't. Like, it's not possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can still
Right.
follow and I can still root for you. We may not
Mhm.
talk on a daily basis like
Mhm.
we did, or we may not text
Right.
all freaking day like we did. You know what I mean? But then honestly, I feel like at that point you're not necessarily supposed to, because you have so much going on, and I have so much going on, and we sit, like we're sitting in this expedition, driving across country or driving around New York, talking about the things we want to do and the things we want to accomplish and all these goals that we have for each other and for ourselves.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And at some point, the talk has to go into action. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
you know what I mean. If we're still talking about, hey, what we want to do, then we're full of it. So I think
Right.
we're at a point where, like, all right, maybe we don't talk every day. I get that, but I see what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I appreciate
Yeah.
what you're doing, and I see the
Yeah.
people that you're impacting,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. And we still have
Mhm.
mutual friends that that and all that stuff. So it was that part for me was cool, like kind of watching it and seeing you grow and seeing your growth and everything. And
Mhm.
I think the coolest part for me was, I mean, obviously me being the preacher's son, and me, growing up in such a faithful
Yeah.
family and everything, was seeing your growth, in your walk with God. I was like, go
Yeah.
ahead, let's
Yeah.
go. Because again, it's no secret. There's in the fitness industry, man, I mean, there's quite a few believers, but then again, there's quite a few not. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
they're completely science based, and I get that, and that's cool. I don't knock it. But then there's people like, what, you leave that out of this. It's just about us getting stronger.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so to see your growth, your spiritual growth, man, and to kind
Yeah.
of follow your spiritual journey, that's for me.
Yeah.
That's been
Yeah.
my that's been the fun part for me. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah.
yeah,
I appreciate
yeah,
that. Yeah.
man.
I mean, literally in the past couple years, that's been the biggest part of my life. That's been
Yeah,
the biggest change, and I can truly say that I felt I grew up going to church. I
yeah,
grew up going to church and whatever, but I felt like the fitness industry was becoming my god,
yeah,
and it was taking God out of my life. And there was this whole just thinking like, I just started to like feel so empty. I was like, what am I putting my trust into? Because science, fitness, nutrition, all of these things are created by God for a purpose.
yeah,
We are not God. And so I started to like really reevaluate what am I doing with my life, and I knew I had to change something,
right,
and it started with my spiritual journey. And so God, oh my gosh, it's not me. God worked in me
yeah,
tremendously, and it was really a refining process throughout mainly like 2017,
mm-hmm,
and then 2018, 2019 to where I am now. But really I see that as such an important part of my life,
yeah,
is bringing that message of hope to people who
yeah,
maybe feel broken. And there's
yeah,
so many broken people that just need some hope and need the truth. And the truth is that we don't control
No, we don't hear the thing.
our destiny.
We don't. Okay, you feel that? Whew. That's break time. I get tired of listening for too long. So, let's chill for a little bit. Quick little break. Stretch your legs. Get something to drink. And then mosey right back. And let's listen up to the corner of the circle. Let's get started with the next part. And it's crazy because like it's, you know, people always kind of, it's at least for me, it's weird for me because even now looking back on, you know, my life, I mean, like people, they approach me about it, you know, quite a bit. It's my DMs, you know, it's weird because you get the crazy people and you get the, you know, the funny people, and then you get those people that ask about your faith and everything, like, oh, you grew up in the church. Like, yeah, man, my whole life, that's all I've ever known. You know what I mean? And my, you know, and I've never really been like shy about like talking about my journey or my spirituality, my faith. I mean, you know me, you already know me. I don't care. Like, I'll talk to anybody about it.
And that's what we really connected on.
Yeah.
Was our faith.
Yeah.
Like, I remember talking to you and being like, oh my gosh. And at that point I was still kind of searching and I was like unsure about things, but I was like, oh my gosh. And we prayed together a couple times, or like, you know, you'd say like, I'm praying for you, and I'd be like, I'm praying for you. And it just, that was so cool because you and Matt Gary. I remember Matt Gary, he really, like, we had some great conversations, and just how you guys weren't afraid to talk about your faith, that really inspired me. Because then I was like, I can't be influenced by the world. You know, the Bible talks about the world and being influenced by the world and being of the world. I was like, I am becoming the world. Like, I'm becoming exactly what I don't want to become. And so I was so encouraged by you and encouraged by like Matt Gary and those, you know, and his wife. Just, I was just like, oh my gosh, they are standing up for, or that you're not afraid to talk about it. And so that actually is what really encouraged me to dive deeper into my faith and really seek, like, what is the purpose of life, and also give that hope to other people.
Well, I think a lot of times I really feel like people, there's a lot of believers out there that they don't necessarily mind. No, you know, I feel like they want to talk about their faith. I don't know that they're even timid. I mean, God he specifically talks about, you know, not being timid. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't call for us to be a timid people. I've never really been. I don't have a timid bone in my body, but I mean, there's you know, but I also feel like there's a fine line in terms of, you know, for believers, to, you know. While I don't mind talking about faith. If you reach out to me and ask me about it, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it if I'm blue in the face. But at the same time, there's parts of, just like with the marriage, just like with a relationship, there's parts of my life, there's parts of my faith, there's parts of my relationship with the God that I feel are so personal. Like, bro, you don't get that. You know what I mean? Like that's between me. That's between me and the God that I serve. But here's the thing: if you don't know Him and you want to, I'm not the greatest at it, but I can help you. And at the same time, you'll know what we're called to do. You'll know what I feel, because you'll have your own personal relationship. And I think for those people, I mean, you know, and you know what? Here's the thing, man. Like, you don't necessarily have to be like this holy roller. You don't necessarily have to just throw Bible verses and spit Bible verses and these different parables that people, you know what I mean, for people to understand, like, you know what, that guy believes, he's a believer, or because we are different people. You know what I mean? Like, we move differently. You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily feel like I have to walk around with a Bible in my hand. I don't, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, people do have to understand that even while the Bible is God breathed, and while the Bible, you know, has, you know, so much influence, you know, from the God that we serve, it was still, you know, made by man. So there's a little bit of, you know, give and take, you know, and people can try to find holes in biblical scripture and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, it's the spirit that God places in your heart. It's at least my belief, it's the spirit that He places in your heart. It's the way that you choose to carry yourself, and it's the way that you treat other people that really show the type of, you know, the type of God that you serve. You know what I mean? If at all. And if you choose whatever platform you have to speak towards that, that's what's up. You know what I mean? For me, I've always been presented that opportunity to talk about it in some form or fashion. Like, man, dude, why are you always so happy? Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I serve a
Right.
good God. I'm blessed, brother. I'm blessed. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
started to
that's so
notice,
true.
you
Yeah.
know, my daddy, I used to always like ask my dad because we would have, you know, people come to the house. We would have people come and visit. I would literally watch him get in like these
Yeah.
debates with atheists and everything. And by the time they're done, while they may not agree on whether this God that we serve exists, dude, there would be so much respect that was shared between those two men or that
Yeah.
man, that woman. With my dad, once they were done talking, he's like, you know what I mean? Not everyone's gonna see the way you see. Not everyone's gonna feel the way you feel. But here's the thing: you cannot make a person feel lesser than for them having a different belief than you have. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's always been, I'm going to treat everybody with respect because I believe that's a basic right. That's a basic right that everyone deserves on this planet. And you deserve
Right.
to have at least my respect until you prove otherwise. You know, so
Mhm.
because I expect that same respect in return. So when I'm talking with you and I'm talking to you, like understand that, you know what, if that good feeling that you get from me, it's not me, bro. I'm just a vessel, homie. You know what I mean? You know, but
Right.
I don't mind talking about it. I don't mind, like, you want to talk about it,
Right.
we can talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, we can literally, you know, talk about anything on this, you know, on God's green earth, you know what I mean, that you want to talk about, but at the end of the day, you're gonna ask me, why do you feel the way you feel? I'm like, because I serve a good God. That's it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't
Right.
necessarily have to walk around, you know, like spitting scripture at you, no, while, you know, if that's what's needed, cool. Like, we can talk scripture all day long. That's what's up. You know what I mean? But you know, there's just, I feel there's ways that we move as believers that other people don't move that way, and so because we choose to move that way, it's a different way of moving. It is. You know what I'm saying? And so you are provided that opportunity more times than not to actually, you know, to testify. You're given the opportunity a lot of times just to tell people, you know, like, well, why do you act the way you act? Why do you feel the way you feel? Why do you always smile? Like, man,
Mhm.
if you serve the God I serve, if you felt the way I feel all day, every day,
Yeah.
bro, like, why would you not? If you felt as blessed as I feel, why would you
Right.
not want to have fun and crack jokes and everything? Like,
Right.
I don't, why? Like, why be
Yeah.
angry? So I think that was part of, like, you know, when I, you know, choosing to be a butthead and not talking the way I, you know, that we normally talk, like, I have no problem saying, like, dude, I was in the wrong, man. I just chose to be angry,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
angry's not how I
Yeah.
operate. So by
Yeah.
us not talking, I'm like, well, this is not who I'm called to be, and how can I tell you straight to your face, like, yo, you're my sister, and
Mhm.
then choose not to
Yeah.
treat you as such. So
Yeah.
it's weird thinking back to, you know, the 2015s and the 2016s and seeing where we
Yeah.
were and fast forwarding to now. Because if you would have told me at that time, you know, on that trip, like, you know what I mean, like, this, you know, this little young girl is going to grow into this amazing woman that's more than willing, you know what I mean, to share her faith with people. You know what I mean? Like, those faith
Mhm.
Fridays, those are fire. You know what I mean? And
Thank you.
some people choose
Thank
to
you.
skip past them,
Yeah.
some don't. You know what I mean? And here's a cool
Yeah.
thing: people don't necessarily have to agree with everything that you're saying, but the fact that they're
Mhm.
willing to, like, you know, the fact that you have that platform and you're willing to share and talk about your faith on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on an hourly basis,
Mhm.
whatever basis that you choose to use it as, you know, that's powerful, man. And not caring
Mhm.
about
Thank you.
the backlash or how people are going to feel about it, like,
Yeah.
that's huge. You know, and there's some person out there that, you know, that they are, you know, a devout Christian. They are you know, they do have a solid faith. They do have a solid base, but they might be struggling with, like, you know what, I just wish I could talk to people about it because you know, I really, it's something
Yeah.
I'm really adamant about, something I really really love, and it's something I really want to share with people, but I just don't know
Mhm.
if how people are going to receive me, because it's, you know,
Right.
it's a, because it's a personal thing, number one, but it's a scary thing to, like, to, you know, to divulge,
Yeah.
you know, how much, you know, how much
For sure.
in love you are with, you know, with this omniscient being that
Mhm.
no one can see, you know what I mean, but
Yeah.
everyone can see. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and yeah, just what you're saying, like it just brings me to I can't remember where it is in the Bible, but it talks about literally like just looking at nature and like seeing God's hand. And I'm like, think about like how unique and incredible every single person and
yeah, man.
like look at nature, look at animals, look at our how we're wired, our
Yeah.
emotions, our like just everything. It's so incredible. And it just like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like a newborn baby, like things like
Right.
that. You know, it's like you look at this life and you're like, Oh my gosh. And like you said, it's just been incredible. Okay, so of course there's some people who don't like it, which that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
People have freedom to, do whatever, but I can't tell you how many incredible conversations I have had with individuals who have reached out about
Mm-hmm.
their faith, who have questions, who share things with me, or say they're praying for me or
Yeah.
ask for prayer, and it's just like miracle. Like I have literally people have shared miracles with me, and it's just, when I say like thousands of messages and comments, I'm not exaggerating. And so for me, like I see that as this is God is putting me in this
You're
position
in a
for a reason.
position, man.
And yeah, when I feel something, like I feel like I need to share something,
Mm-hmm.
I know it's God placing something on
Yeah,
my
man.
heart and someone needs to hear it, because like I think about too just how much God cares for every single person, and like you said, like showing that love. I don't If you don't like me, that's fine, but I will still show God's love to you,
Yeah,
because
man.
like I want you to know, that you are like, just thinking about people who maybe are thinking like, well, who am I? Like, I'm too far gone. I'm whatever. And God says, like, no one is too far gone, and every single human life has value. And
Yeah,
so
man.
I really want people, I want people to know that and to feel Christ's love through me
Yeah.
in some respect. Now, of course, I slip up. I'm not perfect. I'm a
Girl, who you
sinful
telling?
human.
Man, I am. You already know.
I'm,
My man, my mom will tell me to you.
but
My mom will tell me to my face like, "Boy, you're the devil today." I'm like, "You right? You got me on that one, Mama. Okay, I'll be better."
oh,
Like,
no.
but we all
Yeah,
are, dude. We all fall short. You know what I mean? And we,
yeah, yeah,
it's just, and it's crazy because I think a lot. What gets me, because I used to want to be like my daddy, man, and my, and a lot
yeah.
of my cousins. I wanted to be a preacher, you know what I mean, and I went to a Christian like private school, and I'm like, you know what,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get in the pulpit like
Wow.
pops. I'm gonna do all of that, but then I was like, you know what though,
Yeah,
one, I love sports, and I will openly admit, like
yeah.
I love sports, and I love girls way too much. I'm like, yeah, we gotta have a problem, pops. You know what I mean? But I was at least
Oh,
honest about it. And my dad was always like shaking, yeah, I know. You're like, it's just, it is what it is. But here's the crazy thing. Looking back on it, I've noticed that, the thing that always tend to scare me away from talking to a lot of like my friends. They were faithful. They were devout Christians. They are, I should
mhm.
say, great people. But the thing that I noticed that kind of like turns people away, I should say, is not necessarily
Yeah.
the love and the care and the respect that we have for one another, but a lot of times it's just how the Christian vernacular comes out. It's how we kind
Mhm.
of talk to each other, and I mean because I'll openly admit, like there's times that like if I didn't grow up in the church, and if I wasn't versed in scripture and I didn't know what was going on, I wouldn't know what they're talking about because
Right.
it's a whole different, it's a whole different speech. I mean, like the way that we talk to each
Right.
other, and like how we refer to different verses. Like what I mean. Like we
Mhm.
cite all these different verses, and we talk about this and that, and 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 it's weird because if you don't know, you just don't know. Like, well, what are they talking about? Like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
God breathed, and what are they talking about? My,
Yeah.
the love of Christ and all this. But when you hear other, Christians, other believers talking to other believers, it's like we just kind of blah 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 blah. And for me, I always thought that if I didn't know what was going on, if I didn't grow up in the church, if I didn't have a daddy that was a preacher and a mom that
Mhm.
was, such a great Christian mom, and you know what I mean, and a sister that was the same. Like if I didn't have that in my life, and I would walk up on two Christian people talking, I wouldn't know what they were talking about. So
Right.
you know what I mean? And the thing is, like, because our relationship with God is so personal, you know what I mean? And you find a kindred spirit, like, oh, you got a relationship too? Oh my God, let me tell you about
Mhm.
my experience. You tell me about yours? Oh, and then we
Yeah.
kind of get in our own little thing. If there's just
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
person walking on the street that doesn't know what's going on, they get lost in the
Right.
shuffle. And like sometimes we get,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so for me, I'm like, all right, well, while I might not be that preacher that's popping verses out right and left, how can I reach
Mhm.
people, you know, the
Oh,
best
for
way I know how?
sure.
Like, what's the way? What's the way? Wait, I got it. Love. All right, bet. And it's
Well,
weird
and
because,
also too, think about who you reach through your platforms
yeah,
too and through your associations. Like
yeah,
the people that you reach, no other person can reach all the people that you reach. And so I think about that too. I'm like, who is that person that maybe doesn't know God, doesn't, and how is God using
yeah,
me as someone who can show that love? And sometimes it's not even like preaching a Bible
no,
verse or anything. It's just being a good Christian person
yeah, it's
to
just, yeah,
another individual. And
yeah, that's
yeah, and
it.
so it's not always about like what we tend to think of as evangelism. Like
Yeah,
evangelism is being is trying to embody Christ
yeah,
in our relationships and
yeah,
interactions with other
yeah,
people. And a lot of times it's like you said, it's just about being like, this is not my own work, it's God's
yeah,
work in me. And maybe that person is like, oh, I wonder what that means. And then they'll look up a sermon or look up a
yeah.
whatever, and that starts the
Yeah, it just starts.
interest.
Yeah, it's just about it can
Yeah.
snowball, and I feel like that's been, a huge thing with me. It's like, all right, well, I thought that I had to be. I used to think like I have to be this guy walking around on my, I have to have every I dotted, every T crossed. I have to be just
Right.
straight
Right.
laced and walk that straight and
Yeah.
narrow. I'm like, but what I mean, like that's never been me, and I don't know that I'm able to reach people. And I feel like, I tell Ryan all the time, I was like, you know what, man, you have those people that that are at the top of the mountain and they knock it out, but then you have people in the trenches. You know what I mean? Like somebody's got to get those people, not necessarily in the trenches, but somebody's got to be in the
Right.
trenches. Like, yo,
Right.
that dude he's dope, man. I like his style. Like, what he does. You know what I mean? And
Right.
like something as simple as like, I think I reached out like one of my friends he was getting ready to interview for med school or whatever, and I'm just like, hey, all my prayer warriors out there, I want you to pray for this
Yeah.
dude. And
Yeah.
mad people were like, I'll pray. And there's people that I didn't even expect. You know what I mean? But then I'm like, all right, for those people out there that don't know what I mean by my prayer warriors or my people that I want to pray for to lift this guy up in prayer,
Yeah.
this is what I mean. All right, so if you say you're
Yeah.
not a believer, I get that, cool. So send up some positive vibes. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. All right, okay,
Yeah.
bad. And you're like, all right, well,
Yeah.
so what do you mean? I'm like, oh, well, bro, so this is what I mean about like a prayer warrior. This is what I mean about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can have
Yeah.
these dope conversations with people, about faith, just
Right.
like on some indirect. And the next thing you know, like, hey, man, well, I think I'm gonna try going to church, or I think I'm gonna try reading this Bible. It's like, so what's some of your
Yeah.
favorite, And
I
for
can't
me,
tell you how many people have messaged me and are like, I'm going to church for the first time. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh
man.
my gosh, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, and like, and so for
And
me, like I
yeah.
get a few here and there, and I'm like, man, and sometimes I just wait for that feeling because some people are like, hey, man, about to hit church, haven't been to church in a couple years, bro. I'm like, say word, you know what I mean? And part of me was like,
Yeah.
shout out to the
Yeah.
homie, whatever, you about to hit church this
Yeah.
Sunday, do what you do, baby. But I'm like,
So funny.
but I just like, but I
Yeah.
just want people to know, like, man, like you're loved, you're respected, and so it's always been like, okay, how can I mean, for those people that know the steps and they know the Lord, as we said, they know God. I don't know why that always just like makes me feel like we just like, do you know God type, but sometimes
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
feels that way. Um, but for those people that maybe don't know or are trying to figure it out or are just in a point in their life, so like I need something more than what I'm doing. I'm like, well, how can I be more relatable to people to where they can understand what I'm talking about when I'm saying what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, they're like, oh, Ellis is just a cool dude, he just does whatever, or so and so's a cool dude, he just does whatever. Then like you hit him out of both, like, oh, blessings. What are you talking about, blessings? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like it's in my, it's like in my mission statement for my business. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
I think for me it's always been love. You know what I mean? Like that's the one thing. Doesn't matter if you're a believer, non-believer, like doesn't matter. Like love is love. You know what I mean? And so that for me, it literally says of these the greatest is love. Like love is the greatest thing that exists. And at the same time,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, and that's how I've always kind of broke it down to people. Like, so like what did you believe? Like, how do you believe in God? Like, I don't get it. I was like, well, do you believe in love? Like, yeah, I believe in love. Like what's more powerful on earth than love? Is nothing. Most people are like, no, nothing's more powerful than love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. Well, awesome. Well, the Bible states that God is love, right? So how is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it says right there,
Yeah.
like black and white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily have to be the
Yeah.
greatest believer to believe. You believe in love, right? Yeah. Well, God is love.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now that
And
you let me
also too, love isn't something you can see.
Nah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not something that it's something that you know is there, but you can't
Yeah.
like point to,
No.
oh, a thing that's love. And like you said in the Bible, it says God is love, and it said, what's the greatest commandment? Love
Love.
God and love others.
Yeah, man.
I mean, everything can be summed up in two things:
Yeah.
love God and love others.
Yeah, and like so, I mean, and so I'm like, all right, so
Yeah.
let me make sure I get that part down. You know what I mean? And now you know that's
Yeah.
where I'm coming from. That's what we're coming from. So while you
Right.
know you might think like, y'all, these Christian cats, man, they're coming with all this
Yeah.
speech here and there. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
man, if you feel like that person genuinely cares for you, they genuinely love you, like then you're on the right
Mm-hmm.
track. And I think that's been for me the coolest thing, just kind of watching how people react. How people may not react that well to hearing you know pop off about God and pop off about Scripture, but everyone reacts really well when you talk about love. Everyone reacts really well to the feeling of someone wanting to see them succeed, someone wanting to see their betterment, someone wanting them to feel that you know what, you're appreciated. And it's cool that love is so powerful in that it comes in so many different forms. You know what I mean? And in so many different ways. And while it's such an intangible, you get a tangible feeling. Like you can feel it. You can almost reach out and grab it. You know what I mean? And so like when I talk about it, I'm like, that's how I feel with God. Like, while you know, you may not be able to see him, I feel like I can see him. And while you feel like you may not be able to like to reach out and touch him, I feel like I can literally touch him. When you feel like you're like, oh well, what's this little voice, man? I feel like that's my God speaking to me. So
for sure.
it's like it's easy when you're on this side to say that. You know what I mean? And I can openly admit
but we have doubts too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like,
Man.
I think some people are like, how do you never have, I'm like, trust me, it is not smooth sailing all the time.
Man.
And that's when you have to key into other people who are believers, who know the word, who can help you along too, because we can't do this on our own.
Like some stuff I'm like, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
This doesn't even.
Like I ask questions all the time.
Heck
Actually,
yeah.
I'm so blessed. My dad is like, he's incredible.
Your dad's a powerhouse, man.
He's so awesome.
Yeah,
and
man.
he truly is who I go to when I have questions.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
like, Dad, I'm doubting this, I'm doubting that.
Yeah.
Like, can you help explain this? And he's been in the word and in church for, oh my gosh, 40 years.
Yeah, same.
And so he helps me. And so I think
he's deeply rooted, man.
Ask those questions.
Yeah. Because I mean, we've all had doubts and we all have questions. I mean, I feel like I question every other day. And then because there's some like and I think for me it's always been, while my faith is my faith and your faith is your faith, and like you don't necessarily have to be a believer or whatever. Like, all right, well, while I may not agree with how you feel, like, okay, like I don't get how you can't believe with all this evidence around you, but you need more evidence. I get it. Well, then present to me your rebuttal. Like, why? You know what I mean? And then when they tell me, I'm like, ooh, that was good. Not even worried about it.
Okay, we should do a part 2.
No, we are going to do a part 2.
Yeah, and I'm going to see you at the Arnold.
Yeah, we
too.
might just do
This was
Arnold.
a great chat. Really good.
Where can people reach you, Katie?
I'm sorry. Katie and 100. I was like, all of a sudden I looked at my phone and I was like, oh my gosh.
See, bro, I didn't know. I'm like, I was like, are they Eastern or are they Central? I don't even know. Like, I honestly was like, okay, we're not going to be able to talk. All right, that's bet. You be reaching Katie at 100, yes?
Yes. And yeah, that's Instagram. And then I just Katie Ann Rutherford on YouTube. I haven't been YouTubing very much. And then inquiries or whatever, katieannfit@gmail.com. And this was so great.
I love
Thank
you
so much.
so much
for having me on. We'll have to have a part 2 for sure.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely have a part 2. Like, yeah, you and Sean Noriega. Like, we had part 2s for both you guys. Oh yeah, this is bad.
I love him.
Yeah, he's the best,
he's
dude.
So
that
awesome.
guy is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being
All
on.
Right, we'll chat soon.
Okay, good luck at your PT, dude. That's gonna be great.
Thank you. I'm gonna get needled in my neck.
Oh yeah, I do not envy you.
Okay,
I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye. Bye. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for listening to the Corner of the Circle, for watching the YouTubes and listening to all the different podcasts and all that good stuff. Want to let you guys know Also do some coaching. You can go to ellismcclain.com, and it will lead you right to where you need to go as far as filling out an inquiry and all that good stuff. And also, if you want, apparel needs and all that good stuff, we got swag. ellismcclain.com. Again, thank you so very much for everything you guys are doing for us, man, and helping us grow and all the good stuff. Like I said, stay tuned. We got more stuff coming, more episodes coming, more content coming. Either way, a lot of stuff's coming. Thank you guys very, very much.